What's up, family? Welcome to the Loaded Conversation podcast. I'm your host, Carlos Puckrin, and today we have the one and only, or is it the two and only? Because there's two of you guys. I really got to get this together. You can tell that I'm new and really, really good at this simultaneously. I'm sorry for floating my own boat and tooting my own horn. Jerry and Emmalee Webster. Thank you guys so much for being my first guests on our Transitioning Loaded Conversation podcast. I appreciate you guys as always. You guys are doing some really amazing things as far as, entrepreneurship goes, licensed realtors goes, non-licensed realtors. Well, that's not really a thing. But on the investor side of things, and, we'll talk about in a bit why it's really good to have a team that's licensed and unlicensed and what you guys have done up into this point to become successful. But I'm going to ask you guys individually just let the people know who you are and kind of what you do. So I'll start with ladies first. Jerry, stop looking at me like that. Ladies first. First and last name, who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Okay, my name is Emily. I am a licensed realtor. I've been in the game for about a year so far.
She's been in the game, y'all.
I guess you could say we first got into real estate with our own house.
Yep.
That was my first transaction, buying my own house, and I even paid myself to buy my own house, surprisingly.
Crazy, yeah.
But I would say not only am I a realtor,
Yep.
but I also do some design aspects.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because
for
you guys have done
example-
some Airbnb stuff like that, and you guys did design for that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We also are just doing a property in Westbury.
And you guys did your own too, like you were talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Basically from the ground up. I mean, the only thing we didn't handle ourselves with our own property was like the tree removal
Yeah.
and the AC and
Which
roof.
is
But
like, why
besides
would
that,
you?
I mean, like
Climb
we
up the tree.
grinded down the floors.
The thing that's crazy, I didn't actually know that you guys started real estate with your own property, because that's how I started. So I actually started with my own property. It was just a property that I wanted to live in. Renovated the whole thing from the ground up, and some years later actually sold it and made $250,000 on that property. It was because of the appreciation. That's why I love real. That's when I decided, like, maybe I should just only do real estate. That's got a pretty good return.
Basically how we started.
Yeah.
We only got our house for 200, basically, not even. We're in like $500,000 neighborhood.
Yeah.
All right.
And already our houses, we already seen houses on like the market going up down the street. None of them renovated. None of them all exterior. Like we even had one just right across the street from us go for like what, 510.
Wow.
Just
Yeah.
that's like almost like right next door, and we just bought our house for 200.
That's the best.
Renovated.
That's why I love real estate. Anyway, your first and last name, and how did you get in the game?
Oh, my name is Jerry Webster. It was started when construction. I'm really a contractor.
Yep.
Trying to become an inspector.
Yep.
Right now. Started when I was contracting when I was 14, and really just bled into when we're saying, fuck it, we don't know what else to do with our lives because we just dropped out of college.
Yep. Which is a great thing to do, by the way. That's
And,
I
yeah,
endorse dropping out. I'm a college dropout as well.
Oh, because I love it. Because I love saying it because the one thing that you don't have is opportunities, but the one thing you do always have is college. So you got to pick which way you want to go. You can fail your opportunities or you can go back to college. College will always be there.
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, I love that narrative. I got an 18-year-old son. I just introduced you guys to Antoine. And he came to me, he's like, Dad, like, I don't want to go to college. Right? Like, maybe I do, but I'm not sure yet. And before I do that, I'd like the opportunity to make some money. I like entrepreneurship. I took him out on a few calls with me on some seller reps. He went and did a listing appointment with me, watched the listing agreement get signed on the spot. He's like a day later, sent me a text message like, Dad, I think, like he wanted to do a whole bunch of other stuff, but he's like, I think it's just going to be, let's just do real estate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can I move to Houston with you, please?
So what took you from like the contracting aspect of things, like okay, well, like let's really focus on real estate as the business, because obviously it makes sense for you guys and your dynamic.
Honestly, when it started working together, it's a dynamic duo. That's when we really started coming together because I got hurt.
Yep.
Took like a week off, 2 weeks.
He got hurt, guys, which is some shit that happens every
I
other
did
week.
get hurt on got hurt on the job. So
When did
she
you
didn't
get
let
hurt?
me
Because you
go.
get hurt every damn
Yeah.
week. But anyway.
So she didn't let me go to work for a while. So instead of just sitting around, I helped her out. And when I was helping her out, that's when we just started bang, bang, bang deals.
So let me ask you this. You guys are about a year in. So what? You
Uh-huh.
guys are on like, probably going into your second year because I know we were just talking about you hitting your calendar
Yeah.
year. So moving into your second year, and obviously, guys, this is called the loaded conversation because the questions are loaded. I think I know the answers, but maybe I don't.
Uh-huh.
So, what were you guys doing when you first started? Because you guys just sent me this list. But what were you guys first doing? Because I really want people that are watching this to understand, like the way we do real estate is not the way the average realtor does real estate, which is why you get calls in the morning like this is going all wrong. But what were you guys doing to generate leads when you first started?
You know, the average solo agent, I guess you could say, spiel, farming,
Yeah,
going to Title Toolbox,
yeah,
trying to navigate who your next sellers are,
yeah,
who have been like defaulting on their payments,
yes.
I think
pre
driving around was our
foreclosures,
big one.
Driving for
probates.
dollars, baby.
That's literally our
Yeah.
biggest one. We literally look at our maps. We have so many just pinpoints in our phones that we just send. We just
When you guys drive for dollars, what is the premise? Like, what is the desired outcome? What are you looking for? And what do you hope to gain by driving for dollars?
The main thing I always look for is I always look for the older people
Yeah.
because they're the people who always get overlooked and the people that need the help the most.
Yes.
Because except for trying to shortball someone that actually needs some help, that's actually going through some struggle and stuff, except for acting lending hand, they will come straight to you and be way more open to actually wanting to help.
Yes.
That is the biggest part for where we come. We don't drive around looking for the nicest houses. We don't drive around going for, oh my gosh, I liked the shittiest houses. I like the abandoned houses. And
Yes.
I love them. That's the one. That's the
Well, I
one
mean,
thing.
we like now you're making me get completely out of sync when it comes to questions. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hold that one.
Uh-huh.
But how would you say that that was working for you guys initially? Because I remember when you started, you guys had you guys are probably so you legitimately are the youngest agents that I've ever worked with. But way beyond that, I think like when asked Emily like how many leads she had at first, she had like Santa Claus's, you know what I mean, nice kid list full of leads. I was like,
Yeah.
damn. And you said like farming them, going through them, seeing what position each person was in their buying or their selling journey. And I remember you saying like, man, we had all these leads, but it was like sometimes annoying to like go through having repetitive conversations with these people and then never getting that outcome. So how was that like working as far as mining the leads but then getting them to the closing table?
It's all about your follow-up.
Yeah.
That's what I realized.
Yeah.
Like, when I first got into real estate, I was kind of a little bit disorganized, not gonna lie. Like, if you don't have your correct CRM in place in your follow up
Yes.
situation, and he is like a true help
Yeah.
in everything
Yeah, you
following
guys are
up.
like yin and yang. You guys are
Uh
like
huh.
Nicole and I. Like, there's some stuff that I just don't do well. I can do it, but I don't do it well enough for that to
Yeah.
be my focus. And I think that you guys have that opposite aspect. So, like, the things that maybe he lacks in, you're good at, and then vice versa,
It's
right?
100% like that
Yeah.
because when it comes to follow up game, it's always me. They always think they're talking to Emily.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really me talking behind the
Yeah,
phone,
yeah.
texting, sending
Yeah.
out all the emails and the annual updates. It's always me, and then she's always good at getting them. That's her thing. She can just fish all day. Take her fishing, she'll
Yeah, yeah.
catch you
She'll just
fucking
she'll
anything.
she'll line up 30 rods.
I swear to
Put
God,
Yeah.
she
on
would, bro.
minnows,
Like I don't know.
jigs,
And you'll be sitting there with just the most delicious bait on your hook, and you're just looking there, and she's over here bringing them in,
Yeah, yeah.
bringing them in.
Yeah.
But the thing is, she could just keep them bringing them in, but it was just never setting it.
Well, because
Yeah.
if we're gonna keep on talking about fishing, once you get them, you gotta skin it, fillet it, season
Exactly.
it,
Yep.
debone it.
She would just get the fish goes back in the water. That's
Yeah.
her shit. Like, Drops back in the water for her. And like, come on, man, we already got it. We want it.
And so that is, I think, the part of, when it comes to, well, because when I actually, because I don't do a lot of recruiting, I really don't recruit at all whatsoever.
Uh-huh.
It's, the loaded agent program is for agents to stay wherever they are and get good at from that point. And I try to take them at like level 5 and above now because our time is our most valuable asset and we're just much busier than we used to be. What would you say is the difference between, doing what you guys were doing independently and then when I finally convinced you, and it's funny that we're doing this podcast today because you sent me this, you tagged me in that video yesterday, like the first open house that I did for Carlos Puckman, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's so funny because I was baiting you guys to do that. I'm like, listen, okay, fine, you don't have to join my team, but would you do an open house for me? Maybe you'll sell it and maybe make money. And then
Yeah.
you did it, right?
Uh huh.
Because I was just like, if you are one thing that always stood out to me about Emmalee was the fact that you have to have some form of visibility. Even if you're a realtor, you're getting great leads, you're not getting the best leads in the world, whatever. It's about being consistent and being visible. And so you just did a much better job of being visible. Like people could refer to you as an expert because even if they didn't know how good you were, they would always see you, right? And so that matters. What would you say the biggest difference is now as truly loaded agents, because I got the stat sheet right here, but what do you guys say is the difference between the structure or lack of it that you had then versus the infrastructure that you guys are building now and continuing to build in the program?
I would have to say
I'm
it's a
glad this
good
question was that
question.
damn good. Yes, ponder.
Yeah, no, it's a really good question on that one.
Because
Mm,
I know the answer. It's a loaded question, but I know the answer because I see you guys from the outside looking in. So it's I see you guys from like contrast here to like brightness, right? But I want to know what you guys feel like the differences are, or the several differences.
The main difference, I always, like I told you straightforward, you want the same success you, for the people you're helping as the same for yourself.
Yes.
And that's the thing that stands out the most when I told you was when, because I convinced her, because she was like, I don't know who to go with. I don't know where I'm at, because she was with another group. And I was like, man, I was like, I don't like this person because the one thing she
I
always
love that
told,
Jerry's so blunt like that. Like
man, I don't,
with the
I
conversations
love
that
it.
we have that aren't on camera, like I wish we were just recording those, but I don't know if the audience might be a little bit less, but
I never said her name, so we're good on that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
she said you don't go after properties,
yeah.
or you don't go after listings, so you don't try.
You
Is that what you're
never
telling
told
me?
me this story, by the
That's
way.
what I think. But that's
yeah,
literally what
something
made
on
me
the
come. I was
lines
Yeah,
of
like,
yeah,
that.
because you kept popping up. I was like, man, what about Carlos?
yeah,
And
yeah.
what I kept convincing her. I was like, Carlos was there. I kept seeing your stories. I'm like, Carlos seems like he knows what the fuck he's talking
And then
Yeah.
about,
there was
man.
like one day where I was thinking about it, and then you had messaged me, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Because I'll tell you, if I'm recruiting your ass, you ain't about to not hear me. Because the one thing that I make sure that I do when it comes to marketing and promotion is be the loudest. Like if I've had any compliment that I love the most, like dude, even if I don't like you or whatever, like I'm gonna see you, right?
mm-hmm,
Like I got to turn off my notifications
I
to
gotta block
not
your
see you.
ass.
Yeah, exactly,
uh-huh.
right? Like I got to mute your ass, right? And I can't believe though you'd have any mentor or team leader say, "Well, you don't necessarily have to fish for the listings." What?
That was the
I
one. Yeah,
know.
when Emily came to me, I was like, we're trying to work. We're trying to build, like, you wanted to build an
Something.
empire. We
And
want
we're
to.
not
Yeah,
your average, like, 20,
yeah.
22-year-olds.
I
You
think
know,
what
like,
I
I
think
have
when
a
I hear
house to
that, it
pay.
maybe
Like,
was hard for her to understand what the vision of your business is. And I think what happens in leadership a lot of the time is the visions don't align, so you can't end up in the same place. And when you have a any type of mentor, teacher, leader, pastor, football coach, whatever, if you're like, yo, I'm trying to become a champion, and they're like, yeah, but let's just get a win first. You're like, dog. Like you're not
yeah.
listening. You know what I mean? Like
Uh,
I'm trying to get to championship status. And the way I look at you guys is like more of like young Kobe's versus like Iversons. And the reason why I say that, and I hope that they watch this and Iverson's pissed and Kobe's like smiling down from heaven, but Iverson never won a championship, right? Is because he was really talented, but he didn't put enough work into his actual craft to get to the ring. Where when I talked to you guys before I even knew anything, I was like, yo, they want championships. Like I know for a fact, without even knowing what you did, Jerry, which Jerry and I have become great friends, but like what brothers, to be completely honest with you, because I'm raw with my shit. You're like, look, I don't look, fuck that, but I'll get it right the next time, right? Like
yeah.
what I notice is, and I didn't know that, so that's why I love conversations because they're revealing, and that's why I'm so on you guys' asses about communication. I'm like, listen, get ahead of the communication.
Literally, when you
Mm-hmm.
send us,
Yeah.
like, well, we have our group chat.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
when you were sending us, like, the other day, when you're like, communication, you had to get these documents signed. What are you doing right here? I'm like, I'm literally taking it personal. I'm like, damn.
I love that though.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's better that way.
Emily's over there looking for me from the desk. What's wrong? I'm like,
It's
Carlos is
motherfuckers.
getting onto us, bro. Like, I feel
But here's the
bad.
thing, right? Feel good because love comes in many different forms, right? Like it
Mm-hmm.
comes in the form of actual like words of affirmation, encouragement, but there's also the side that's like teaching and discipline, right?
Yeah.
And so nobody taught me, like, yo, get the documents signed right away, right? Because here's what happens, like when you're in like certification courses and stuff like that, they're like, take your time and make sure that they feel comfortable. And when they make the right decision, then you
Yeah.
can get the document signed. And it's like, that's bullshit, right? Because, like, if I go to the shoe store, and I use this analogy all the time, if I go to the shoe stores, my shoes are fucked up. I walk into the shoe store, I'm like, oh, shit, right color, right size. Hey, man, let me get those in a size 10. All right, boom, I try them on. Oh, shit, these feel good. I walk around the store and shit. I'm like, oh, I got enough money. And what am I going to do? Give them the shoes back? Like, you know what? I want to make sure that I'm making the right decision. So I'm going to go home in my shitty shoes that hurt my ankles, and then I'll decide. And then what might happen is between that time on the way home, the right sales individual might jump in front of me and be like, "Man, your shoes are fucked up. Look at them. They're leaning. I know your ankles hurt. Come in, let me."
Yeah.
And then they're gonna give me the shoes, and I'm gonna walk away with them that day because the salesman didn't tell me to put them in the box. Let me take your old ones, put them in the box, and you're gonna walk out with these. That's all it takes. So that's the difference. That I just answered the question, but that's the difference that you guys, I see in you guys, the as per our conversation emails. When I give you, so like for instance, like everything we do is loaded. So like loaded conversation, loaded responses. Like I gave you guys 2 loaded responses today. I'm like, whenever the buyer agent calls you with the bullshit, because here's the truth.
With their
Listing
ear.
agents last in real estate. Listing agents are the best agents. When you list more properties than you escort people around to hopefully buy, you control the economic climate of your life.
Yeah.
The problem is when you have the wrong mentorship and they're like, well, 100,000, 6 figures, that's enough for a year. I'm like, I need about 10 times more than that, right?
Yeah.
Then your vision exceeds the person that's teaching you. How can they teach you? Like it's pretty much impossible, right? Because you have a bigger vision for your business than they even do. So how would you say that the loaded agent, this is a 2-part question. How does the loaded agent program just work in general, and how has it worked for you guys? I want you both to answer this individually.
Yeah. Shoot, the loaded agent program works to actually bring out who you really are inside. Like you got in real estate for a reason. You got in it because one, either you want to make some money, two, you want to help some people out, or three, it's because you're a badass and you're just a badass entrepreneur.
Yes.
So the loaded agent program is going to give you everything you possibly need to fulfill any one of those goals, and it's on you. Like Carlos said, it goes like, you want to get loaded, get loaded. You have the resources. Don't just get bankrupt. It's already there for you. The same, like, it brings you out because it shows you who you are. Because once you get your first listing, you're like, damn, I actually did that.
And how long did it take for you guys to get your first listing?
We got 3 listings within 3 weeks. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks.
You guys get so many listings, it blows my mind, but I want to stay on track because that shit will take me to a whole different place. I got ADHD like a motherfucker.
And that's when it comes in the yin and yang effect. It's just when she hooks him, I gotta fillet him.
Yes.
That's it. I gotta cook them because she's not gonna cook them. And also when I cook them, I gotta wash the dishes and all that other shit too because I am.
She's like, oh my God, yes, you do wash the dishes. So how has it worked? Well, I'm going to ask you that same question before you go on to how it has worked for you. But how would you say that the loaded agent program just works in general?
I would say it works if you have the fire lit under your ass.
Yes.
By
the way,
it all starts with you, though.
Thank you.
It
I'm
all
so
starts
glad you
with
said
you.
that. Yeah.
Like, if you don't have everything set in place, if you're not truly ecstatic about it,
Yeah.
wanting to learn more, then, I mean,
But you legitimately said the reason why I don't recruit.
yeah.
Because, I could have 100, decent agents, but, Fabulous said, I ain't got to be 100 deep. I'd rather have 10 lions than 100 sheep. So I
Yeah.
would legitimately rather roll with the wolf pack because we're never going to go hungry. We're going to have an abundance stored up. And that's the whole point because we have a mission. Our mission is to, help homeowners that might be in a bad situation. Do we capitalize on it? Yes, we're capitalists. We capitalize on it. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem, I think, is, and then I'll get back to the second part of that question, is that people think that there's wrong with capitalizing. People think that there's wrong with taking advantage. So the point is, and I said this a couple of days ago to my pastor, and he's like, that's good, right? I'm like, the point in life is that you're supposed to take advantage, and then you're supposed to give advantage. So you are legitimately supposed to take advantage, but then once you've taken enough, then you start giving back because now you have an abundance of it, right? And so
Mhm.
we live in a society, I think, that it's like if you take advantage of the situation, you're a bad person. No, if you take advantage of the situation, you're a smart person, right?
Mhm.
And so what I said to you guys originally was come over here. I need some people like you guys and take advantage. I never not said not take advantage. I was like, take advantage of all of the information and systems that I'm going to give to you guys,
Mhm.
and let's just and eventually, whoever's feelings this is going to hurt is just going to hurt. But eventually, I said, listen, let's just go into business together and let's just go 50-50 on everything, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys could give just as much as you would take, and that's perfectly fine. You sow seed, you grow the seed that you sow, and then you pick the fruit and eat it. So we're brainwashed, we are indoctrinated into the typical system or systemic thinking process, and then anybody who says anything outside of that, you go against them. He's a rebel, it's crazy, that's stupid, I can't believe this, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada, right?
Mhm.
So how would you say that second part of the question, how has the loaded agent program worked for you guys in your lives individually and together as a couple?
It has definitely helped me learn a lot, a lot.
Fast track
Every
learning.
transaction is completely different, which is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would also have to say it's made me step outside of my comfort zone and made me feel more confident and what the hell I'm doing. Like,
Because you're doing a lot of it. Jerry,
yeah.
remember what I
Yeah.
said? I said, I don't give a shit if you've been in the business for 10 years. If you've done 10 transactions and I've been in the business for 1 year and I did 100, I know more than you.
Mhm.
Because experience trumps age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're 20 years old. What can they tell you? Everything. Because you haven't done enough business to know anything. I've been in different scenarios. I've sold a house separate from the land and then put the deed in combination and then got the whole deal done. I've taken a complete burn house, brought in a structural engineer, got a inspection report, sent that out to an investor, gave them everything that they need. So when they came, all they had to figure out was deed restricted. People are like, what the fuck? That's why I don't want to do it. That's why
Yeah.
people don't want to do it. But that's
Yeah.
why you make 23% commissions. But anyway, so how has it worked out for you guys, for Jerry, for you individually?
It's honestly been a blessing just because I'm able to
Because
get
you're a
new.
wolf.
Man, I love learning. I love being able to obtain new knowledge. New knowledge. Let me just speak English for a second.
Yeah.
I love. Shit, I can't speak English. I love attaining new knowledge because it's just you're getting 1% better every day. If you're not wanting to better yourself and you're not able to triumph in your world, then you're gonna be dying working. If you're working every day, you're not making yourself better. You're not becoming the person who you really want to become. With that being said, when I was just being contracting, and I didn't want to be in contract my whole life because I was already in between. I was 14. I was like, man, I'm gonna be 14. What am I gonna be like? One of these old ass men that are
Because
like
you can see
60
them
years old?
already. Because you can
Because
see
I
them.
study people. I like sitting back. I like learning.
You're
Because
like, this motherfucker's drinking 12 beers before it's even 1 p.m. You know
Oh,
what I
what are you
mean?
talking about?
yeah.
He's already drunk before walking on the job site, already stumbling, doesn't know what to do, lost half his tools on the way over here. Like, come on. Like, I don't want to be in this type of this atmosphere because I want to be the person running the job. I want to be the person to be able to get the jobs. I want to be a person. I want this house. Like that was what I wanted.
Yeah.
I walked in and I was like, I want to be able to figure out how to get these houses because before Emily and I even got into real estate, we were just finding abandoned houses just to go into them. Just
Yes.
because we loved them. We just found so many, but then it just kept killing us because we're like, we
What
find
the
these
fuck do
houses.
we do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're just passing up on deals. We just go back like there was this one mansion we found in Cyprus. We're like, oh my gosh, it's so fucking beautiful. But the only thing we could do is just tour it. That's it.
And now you guys send me full fucking list and I get that shit skipped. You guys got leads, they come skipped, all the
Yeah.
information. You can't stop having conversations. By the way, guys, these guys calling me like 3 days before a foreclosure auction, like, yo, we got one, da 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 da. And I'm like, fuck. The reason why I love teaching is because I get to learn while I teach, right? And I'm super good at taking the information, boom, coming up with a situation
Yeah.
to resolve the issue. I think one of the things I know Jerry loves is he'll call me like, okay, Emily does it too. She's like, okay, listen, this is kind of fucked up. I don't know what to do right here. I'm like, give me 15 minutes, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'll get that information because we have such an extensive network, right?
Mm-hmm.
What has the loaded agent done for you guys as a couple? Because I look at you guys like a young power couple. Like you guys, um, look, this shit's stressful. So, I mean, me and Nicole fight and then we love each other like, 20 minutes later. Cause it's like, we're doing some shit. You got to send an email. Oh, you didn't send the email. Blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're like, you see, that's why you're laughing your ass off. And then you're like, okay, like I'm sorry, I love you. Like, come on, let's get this shit done, right? So how has it? Because I know no matter what, it's like a good test for your relationship, and there's so much to gain from it. So how do you guys work together, and what's it like working together? Because you guys do different things, but it still gels together as one.
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it because I never knew how hard it was until when we're actually talking about it and be like, y'all work together at such a young age. And we're like, yeah. And we're like, I can't even work with him, being in the same room like 5 minutes with him. I'm like, how? Like, I couldn't even like do this without her. Like,
Yeah.
I dead ass just can't. No way I can like gonna be able to do these contracts without her.
Yeah.
No way am I gonna be able to do all this marketing
We're the
without
same.
her.
Like I'm not doing none of that
I'm
shit.
not-
I'm not even trying to do shit I'm not good at.
Exactly, because I'm like, I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at my strengths. She's good at her strengths. So when we're able to come in, yeah, because like you said, it's like we're gonna be keep on. Our desks are literally 5 part. What the fuck are you doing over there?
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing. Oh no, you're not doing. I'm doing marketing. Sure you are. I just hear all the stuff over there. What are you doing over there?
Watching soccer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like,
that was him.
yeah, all day yesterday watching
Yeah.
Argentina. Man, I had to watch Messi.
But look,
Messi's gonna win it.
let's talk about that. How beautiful is it to be able to, especially in real estate? Because like, look, like you guys got right now when you started the loaded. We started in October, so that's
Yeah.
dope. Okay, November, December, January. Damn, you guys are killing it. Okay, so now watch this. Bass Cove, Meadow Green, Grafton, Trey Road, Bankside, 420 East Street, and you guys are working on a couple more in the pipeline, right?
3 more.
So it's 3 more. Look, Jared's like 3 more. Motherfucker. I want to know the exact number. So you started the loaded agent program in October. You're about to close your first $100,000 commission, and you're capping in one deal. Let's talk about that for a second. So when I talk to the average agent, they're like, "Oh, like it's impossible." Like I legitimately teach like every other week we do like a free training. By the way, guys, join the Loaded community. It's free on Facebook. We let all realtors and investors in. We give free tangible information that you can actually put into use immediately. And if you're a licensed realtor, maybe you can get a 23% deal like these guys. So we got this deal, Burn House. You call me at the last minute. I'm pissed because I'm like, yo. And by the way, I said specifically and explicitly, if the shit is less than 72 hours, don't call me about the shit, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
But you gotta admit, we did all our research.
you did
way
all
before we
and
called
so
you.
this is what this is
Uh-huh.
why you guys are literally beyond students. Like you're going to be junior mentors. So I'm like, do your due diligence. Like my 3 main rules are: do your due diligence, communicate via email, know your numbers. So they call me 3 days, like 72 hours, or maybe even
It was that
48
Sunday.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
that's
it's Sunday, and they're going to auction on Tuesday. I'm like, never do that shit. I have way too much anxiety. I drink way too much fucking iced energy drinks for this shit. So even though I said that, the mark of a genius is rebellion. So remember that. So this guy calls me. I think it was you that called me,
called
and he's
you.
like, "Hey, listen, man. Like, I know we're not supposed to do this shit." And as soon as he started the conversation like that, I'm like, "Here we go." He's like, "But I got this deal."
I had to give you a brace
And
for
Emily
impact.
sent me the numbers on it already. She's like, "Yo, the ARV in this area is like $1.3 million," and I'm like, "Shit." All right, what's the address, right? So then we look it up. Boom, go on County Clerk, get the information. I'm like, damn,
Uh-huh.
the numbers owing is 3337. I'm like, shit, the angels are with us on this one. Let me go ahead and get it. Let's
Yep.
get it popping. So then we run through the info, we get it, and it's a great deal. I think we wrote it in for like 35% or 50% initially. Opened up title on it, found out what the liens were, and blah 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 blah. Did a preliminary scope on it, and still a pretty penny. Got it listed got it stopped within.
30 minutes before going to auction.
Yeah, exactly 30 minutes.
And
Tell
I
the
don't know
story.
how we did that.
What do you mean you don't know how we did it? I'll explain it right now. So
Driving everywhere, seeing
Yeah, we did
everybody.
have to drive everywhere.
okay, so the question is, we got an auction that's happening in less than 48 hours. Let's just call it, and you guys got your first commission. Like I said, 100 grand, completely capped from the brokerage, capped from me as an individual. Starting your calendar year at 100%, going 50-50 on everything that we feed you. What does that feel like? Did you even think that that was possible?
Not gonna lie, I didn't think it was possible, but then after having that first deal and realizing like holy shit, like we just saved that property and this lady was about to file for bankruptcy and all we did was have an executed contract in place in order to stop it.
And here's the thing that's crazy. So let me just ask you this: like, how many listings did you guys have before you joined Loaded Agent Program Connect Property Group with me?
We weren't even working together. That was the thing.
Okay, so boom,
Yeah.
let's just call it no listings.
Yeah, no
nothing.
listing.
3 weeks, 3 listings. Bass Cove, I think it was. Oh no, Michael Grafton.
Michael.
So Michael Grafton. That's
Michael
another problem.
Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Closed that deal. Water, like it was nothing. The client was more of a problem than the property.
Shit.
And now you guys are just getting listing after listing. Now Emily said, "Okay, well, I didn't even know that that kind of shit was possible." How did you feel? Like, oh shit, man, we got 100. First of all, we thought it was a $250,000 deal. When we first looked at it, we're like, damn, we make $250,000 on this. But
You
the
were the yeah. We were talking about
yeah,
that first.
but the fact that you got one, shit, I think we got it at the end of the month, so we're legitimately, or we got it this month.
Yeah.
So we're legitimately closing it in the same month. How does it feel to be so young in real estate, meeting this guy who's like, yo, man, join my team. Like, please, just fucking, what the fuck, man? I'm the best. What are you doing? It's like Jordan calls you in his prime, like, yo, you wanna come play my team? You're like, I don't know, right? That's how I'm
Yeah.
referring to myself. I'm the Jordan of this shit, right? So now we're 3 months in, and you're closing a deal that's legitimately capping you, literally in a deal, worth 100 grand, getting the game fed to you. It's like the coach is just like, okay, I write 28 on 2. Ready? Right?
Uh-huh.
How does that feel like for you, Jerry?
It's honestly breathtaking. It's because you would never think that it's a whale of a deal. Not that many agents can get this type of a deal because one, they don't know where to look for the deals. Two, they don't know how to execute the deals. Or three, when they see a problem like that, they only think that they just have to call somebody and then they just give up calling them. Like that's no, you're consistent. Like that's the beauty of everything. I just never would. I don't look at the numbers. I'm not a stat guy. I just go about my day. If I pick up a new client, I pick up a new client. But this was the one that made me open my eyes and actually just take a step back for a second and be like, okay, that's literally a fucking game changer. Like being the ages we are, the short amount of time that we're doing this full time together. It was almost one of those moments where it was just like stunning because not everybody can have this on their resume ever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
an agent that's been doing this for 20 years does not have that on their resume.
They don't have it on the resume, dude. You
No.
told me, you said people message you like, how are you doing what you're doing? And you're like, bro, you could do it too. And then they just fade away into the, because they
Yeah.
can't. The first thing is you have to get over your BS, and I'm not talking bullshit. I'm talking about your belief system. So you actually have to believe that this is possible. When you think about it, you make a person's salary in one, like a person's yearly salary in one deal at age what, 22 and 23. Like you're gonna get some hate. Somebody's gonna tell you this is not right, or it's not ethical, it's not this or that. But how does it feel knowing that your client is ecstatic about the outcome?
That's
On
that's
top of it,
the
the
one
money.
That's
that's
amazing.
crying that says, "Oh, I want to put you in my will. You're a lifesaver.
Yeah.
You nothing but just been honest and helping and just trustworthy." Because when her back against the wall, she literally could have gone to anybody else, but
and
came
there's
to us.
and there's something that people don't understand, and I really want the people that watch this to understand is, we are so wholesalers give us a stigma, like as realtors, because they do dumb shit, and you know that by the fucking deals that we get where we have
Yeah.
to save people from bullshit, right? So nothing against wholesalers, but wholesalers, get your shit together. Like the reason why I tell people to get licensed is so that you understand a little bit more, and you're not listening to fake gurus telling you to give a fucking $10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Earnest
$10
money when
earnest
you
money.
can just fucking be honest and upfront and tell what you're doing. Whenever I talk to wholesalers, I'm like, listen, guys, if you really want to make a difference in your business, tell the person honestly that you're not fucking buying the house. You're going to assign it because you have interested investor buyers, and you are going to make a fee to assign the contract. If you tell people the fucking truth, they will still go with you. As a matter of fact, they'll like you more because they'll go,
Exactly.
shit, you told me the fucking truth, right?
Yeah.
That
You're
shit
not
was rare.
playing around.
You don't have to do
Because
that.
you're not beating around the bush at that point. Everyone wants to move fast. No one's there's patient people and there's non-patient people. Patient people are very, very hard to come by.
Well, when you
people
look
are
at a
still in the
lion
house.
that hunts, right? How do they hunt? They don't just run up on the shit and kill it
Exactly.
because the shit always runs away. They literally have to like get down in the bushes and like approach that shit with caution. Like, oh, I'm not gonna hurt you, buddy. I'm not gonna hurt you, right? Boom,
just gonna
got your
bite the
neck.
shit out of you.
Exactly. And like in that same regard, but in a different way, we don't hurt people because all the the investors they see the blood in the water and their approach is way too desperate. That was one thing I said, guys, don't ever have the stench of desperation. It's like a skunk. It's hard to get that shit off, right? And I tell some of our other agents like, yo, relax a little bit. The reason you're not getting the deals is you're coming on too strong. Jesus Christ, I just want to watch the
Yeah.
movie with you, right? So from point A, from October to present day, okay, like 6 listings in the pipeline, got 2 closing this month, already got 1 close. You guys' stats are way now. You are no longer the average realtor. You guys are truly the youngest and most successful loaded agents. Okay, so like, what do you guys do from here? Because now we got Webster Realty and Co. We're LLCing. I'm not going to talk about what we talked about off camera, but now we're in 2023. We're in acquisition.
Oh yeah.
We're the bank now. You guys are on track. And I told you this, you guys, I didn't even know if you guys believed me when I first told you. I said, you do this shit with me, you're going to make millions of dollars. You are now officially millionaires. What do you do now? Like, what is Webster? What? Because we talk, I want fucking apartment buildings. Also, I'm like, hey, I got a better idea for you. But what now is your mind? Would you say your mind's just fucking completely open to like the possibility of anything?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to flip that
Definitely.
420 property. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, I
Like,
know.
was-
I can't even let you make decisions. Like we got to be with because one thing I say to realtors is like, if you can make the same money as a fix and flip without taking on the asset and dramatically increasing your debt to income ratio, wouldn't you do it? I mean, think about it. Making 100 grand. Look, the person who acquires the property, they're gonna spend $250,000.
yeah, easily.
They're gonna fucking pull permits. They're gonna have gray hair and shit in their beard by the time they're done building the shit. They gotta replat it, whatever. Let's say they sell it for $1 million, million and a half because they do 2. Maybe they sell them for 600,000, 700,000, 800,000 each. By the way, those townhomes, they're doing it the smart way because them shits
Yeah,
can still
they
sell
are.
for $1 million, million plus. Okay, so they the acquisition, maybe build out. They spend another $500,000, so now they're $1 million, million two into it. They sell them both for $1 million each. They make 800,000, right? Okay, there's a lot of fucking work in it, and it might even end up being $500,000, but they don't make that money for at least a fucking year, just pulling permits, build out, da da da. But we make a quick 100 grand and we just skate off and go on to the next one,
Yeah.
right? So how does it feel knowing that you can make fix and flip money just as a realtor and stay inside your fiduciary responsibility?
Why do you think I gave up contracting? Why do you think I only do the small stuff now and just kind of with her just 24/7? Because I don't, like I said, if you work every day, you're gonna die working. If you work smarter, it's just gonna be there.
Exactly. You work smarter and not harder. What was your biggest hesitation? Because this is funny. Because earlier, because Jerry was like, "Yo, what about Carlos? What about Carlos? I mean, what the fuck? Come on." What was your biggest hesitation? Like, were you with other brokerages that weren't fucking adhering to what you've seen or what you're? What was the
Yeah.
biggest hesitation initially?
I guess the biggest hesitation is just because I was moving a lot previously. I think,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I
He's
was
like, "Okay, that's true." Because you don't come with the bullshit.
for,
No, that
Yeah.
was yeah,
Yeah.
because that was when we were flipping our first house.
Yeah.
We had no fucking floors. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
serious.
really had
We were living in
floor.
a studded house. We were barely living on the second floor because in a room in the fucking corner because our first floor was
Gutted.
Not
nuts.
even
Yeah.
livable yet.
like, and it was just a hard time for us. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. It was but we wanted it though.
It was
we
a
wanted,
character building time.
because we wanted to put ourselves in that situation. Like there was not. We came in the mindset.
You guys you put yourselves into, which most people don't do, by the way. You put yourselves into a sink or swim position.
exactly.
You were like,
Yeah.
we're gonna fucking succeed or we're dead. Like we're gonna fucking, like, if it rains too hard, like we ain't even got a wall over there. like legitimately,
No,
like
deadass.
we have to succeed from
Like,
this
I
space.
remember my mom walking in and she was like,
What the fuck are you
what
doing?
the
Everybody.
fuck are
Exactly.
you doing, Emily? Like,
Parents, all both of us, like, I think No one. I had one person. We had one person believe in us and always loved us and always helping us, and that's my best friend Cameron.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was over there every day. I'm talking about he went. He was a waiter.
Yeah.
He went over there, worked. He worked night shifts. He stayed over the night. He worked with me 8 to like 5 o'clock. Then go back to work at his waiter job.
Yeah.
Then come back to my house.
Yeah.
Complete work again and do everything. We're doing that for like months.
He had the vision. He could see the
Standing
vision.
down.
Those are the
Exactly.
people that are worth, giving your
Yeah.
extra time and shit to, because they really see.
He's actually about to become a real estate agent too in Dallas.
Bring them on in. Those are the only people I'm taking that truly understand it, because I don't want to hold, like, I want to give, what do I always say? The best learning is done in the field.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm like, I talked to our other brothers, like, okay, so Carlos, what if the sun came out and then went down and somebody pulled in with a mobile home and then they left and they had an RV? I'm like, listen, man, go out and get a fucking, go out and get some shit under contract, or at least be having a loaded conversation so that I can walk you through that as every possibility arises, right? And that's why I say, like, when the agent calls you, hey, I'm working on it right now. I don't have the answers at this present moment, but as soon as that information becomes available to me, I'll let you know. Right?
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of those template answers where the agent's still pissed on the other line, but I told you everything that you need to hear at this present moment in time. That's why I say sometimes, the power of restricting information from people is what gives you the most power, right?
Exactly.
So that's why it's super important to continue to learn. What do you think? I got two more questions. So, you learn in real estate school, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is different about what you learn in your certificate? Emily said that shit. She's like,
A
shit,
hell of a
everything.
lot.
What is different than what you would learn in your typical certification course? This is a loaded question for you, Emily. And because you watched her do the shit, right? What is different between what you learn in your typical real estate course than what I teach?
Oh, a hell of a lot. Like, I didn't know that commission splits didn't have to be just 3%. I didn't know that in regards to some contracts, like, you had to have this one in place rather than this one.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot of stuff that
Yeah.
they don't teach you, and you don't know until you actually experience it, because
Because you don't know.
yeah, you really
You-
just don't know.
In
Like,
life,
every
it doesn't matter if
transaction's
it's
different.
fucking ballet or, your friend who's the waiter or waitress. Like, you can never know what you don't know. So if you've never experienced it or you've never had to go through it, you can never teach anybody anything else. And because I had so many, and I try to protect you guys from a lot of, I'm like, listen, don't, remember we were talking about the Facebook shit? I'm like, hey, yo, don't post that shit yet, right?
Yeah.
Not because, we can't do it, but because until we are in contractual obligation, legally and legitimately, that could throw our ghost client completely out the window, right? Because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, my cousin called me, but I'm like, if you just simply ask permission, just in a respectful way, they're like, of course. And by the way, I'm in the group called, Pigeons and Socks. Make sure you put it in there. I have a lot of friends in it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because it just opens up the door for conversation. And I'm thank you for answering that question that way, because what I try to get people to understand is, like, look, you're gonna look, school's bullshit. I try everything not to say that.
Uh-huh.
Because I really want sponsorships and shit, guys. So all the rebellion companies, come to me. I got all the bullshit for you. But, I know that, don't get me wrong, formal education is great. So I don't mean school is completely useless. What I mean is, school was invented in a time in Industrial Revolution. So ultimately the goal of school was to get the fucking kids to go somewhere from 8 to fucking 5 so that the fucking parents could go to fucking work at the big factories that were pumping out the shit. We don't need to do that anymore. And COVID proof, you can fucking work at the house. If you're not actually working on a physical line where you got to fucking screw this in, shave that off, put it in this box, you don't fucking need to be at the factory, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to be anywhere except for around the people that have similar goals and similar dreams and similar mindsets that align with yours. And you will end up at your destination, or what your desired success actually is, right? And we talk about that all the time. So what would you tell any realtor, and I'll leave it with this, but what would you tell any realtor that, they've been in your position and they're like, I'm fucking doing all this sphere. Like, I remember somebody said in the group the other day, oh, I just text my sphere. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Our sphere is the world, the biggest sphere that there is. What would you tell any realtor? Let me give you one more question before the final one.
Okay.
How do you feel about the way we distribute leads now versus the way that you were getting them before? Like, what would you say the distinct differences, and how do you feel about like the way? Because you guys get a lot of fucking listens. Like, you guys have a lot of conversations. Like, I looked at your whiteboard the other day. I'm like, I sent it. Remember, I re-screenshot. I'm like, that's the shit I'm focused on. But now it's like, man, you guys, emails, organization, spreadsheets, fucking everything. Like, how do you feel? Because I try to tell people, yeah, we get to the leads. Yeah, we got distress leads. We got every fucking lead. How do you feel about it now as opposed to the way that you were doing it before? You feel like more sure? Do you feel like your business is super tangible? Like, oh, I can fucking do real estate for a living and be fucking rich. Like,
Yeah, of course, of course. And I also think he's more spreadsheets type of guy. I am not about
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I'll just throw it all in
yeah,
and
yeah.
like make sure that I follow up with everything.
And he's
And
like, let
it's
me
She
just
never
organize this shit.
does.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
never
yeah.
does.
yeah.
Because I'm like, did you follow up with Bobby? Who's Bobby? Then why the fuck you got him on your feet, bro?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I told you guys, like, if you don't put shit, like, if that shit ain't in my calendar, remember when you're like, hey, is everything okay? I'm like, what the fuck isn't okay? And then I went to Calendly and it didn't update, so it wasn't in my schedule. Because if it's not in my schedule, I even said to Joe, I'm like, hey, Joe, if this shit don't, you got to message my, is this because if it never goes into my, because what'll happen is Joe texts me, then you guys will text me, then my girl will call me from downstairs. I'm like, everything that happened before that no longer exists. Right? So like if it doesn't happen immediately, it just doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as the leads that you guys were getting, which were good leads, but the way that you get them now, what's the difference? Like what would you say is what's making you so successful?
I think the
Because you are
more
successful. Do you fucking
Yeah.
guys know that you're successful? Do you know that? I'm here to tell you. People, you're successful. When you get one CDA that says 36,000 and your entire cap is capped, which means your whole 16 G's got paid, right? And the overall was 100 grand, you made double or triple what motherfuckers making a year. By the way, the average doctor salary is 125 grand. A specialist doctor, if you didn't know, is $250,000.
We are doctors. Doctor of
Exactly.
real estate.
Yeah, you fix
Doctor of real
problems.
estate.
You fucking do full blown surgeries that save lives. So how does
Yeah.
that feel? Like, how does that feel?
Sometimes it hasn't like hit
Hasn't hit
me
you yet?
yet.
Oh, I'm gonna keep on making sure it does.
No, definitely like because we want so much for ourselves. That was one thing that we told us. Like we don't look at what happened now, before, future. We just
You
look
don't
at
celebrate the victories.
yeah,
Basically.
we just
Yeah.
focus in the moment. And
Yeah.
then when we actually look back, I guess when we're in our vacation somewhere in Cabo, we're like, damn, this shit's actually real, bro. What's
Yeah.
like
Because
When we hit that
sometimes
boat
I'll
and
just
cigars.
like be in the living room and I was like, holy shit, like there was a wall right here. Jerry and I knocked it down.
Yeah.
Like we built these
Yeah,
cabinets.
you're
we
building your dream.
we did this countertop. Like it's just whoa. Like
Do you-
I did that shit.
yeah.
I want you to understand that you know this shit is very inspirational because real estate is like taboo, right? Like people want to get into it, but they're like, "Fuck, man, I gotta
Yeah.
take a course, and then I gotta fill out some papers and shit."
It's not even that. It's like, but I don't want to risk my money. Then
No, and I try to tell those people, no risk, no reward. If you don't risk it, there's this old saying, I forget what, but it was like, risk it for the biscuit. Like if you ain't gonna risk, you ain't gonna eat, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's what it truly boils down to: being willing to take those risks. What would you tell any realtor who's thinking about becoming just a realtor in general, and then that shift from being a realtor to a loaded agent? So what would you tell anybody who's thinking about becoming a realtor?
like you said, I had to see your drive first. If you don't have that drive, you're just gonna just die out here.
That's the truth. That's a true statement.
Because everyone can easily like you have people that are good at school. That's why you go to school. That's why you have people that like that's why people have like diplomas. You can easily go to school, just get your real estate license and just have your license. Same thing you get at school. But the thing about real estate is no one's gonna hold your fucking hand while you do all this shit. Like that's the thing.
You have to want it.
People are gonna, even when we send our text blast out, shut the fuck up, fuck off. Why the fuck you texting me? You get real rude responses. Even when we go door knock, we get real rude responses.
Yeah.
But we don't care because we know what our mission is.
Yeah.
We're a God-driven business. We loved by Him. We're driven by Him. We always have
Yeah,
the
yeah.
conversation.
And we're serving his people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I always have in my mind. It's just like, it's okay. That's the way you feel, but someone else, about 5 houses from now, they're gonna be crying because they needed our help.
By the way, people always say to me, like, damn, you curse a lot for somebody that's God driven. I'm like, you don't know what the Bible says. Like, sluggard, all that shit that they're saying is just cuss words in a totally different way of saying it. But having that foundation driven focus to where you know you're going to help people, would you say that's what's helping you continue to push? And are you basically saying a realtor needs to have a reason to be a realtor? Because I said to my son this morning, I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, get the fuck up. like the thing about being an entrepreneur, and I'm looking at Joe behind the scenes right now. Shout out to Focus Pictures, but look, you're nobody makes you do shit. Nobody your schedule is a schedule that you put together for yourself. And so a lot of the reason that realtors can't go full time because they can't even adhere to shit. They have to have a job. They have to have somebody tell you, be here. That's why school sets you up for success. I mean, sets you up for failure. And entrepreneurship sets you up to be in that 11, 10%.
Yeah, that's why you sit in the classroom and listen. You're sitting there to listen and obey. That's it. That's why we could never. My mind was always somewhere fucking else. Like I couldn't just sit there and listen. Like no.
Why do you think I don't do real estate the way I was taught? Like I was sort of, by the way, I believe in working smarter and not harder to a T. So when I did my first two real estate courses, because I failed my first two real estate courses, by the way, I failed everything I fucking ever did the first time. Okay? Just so people understand,
Yeah.
failure
It
is
took me,
success.
like, 2 times, 3
No,
times.
it took you 4 times.
Yeah, he's like, look,
Yeah.
stop lying, motherfucker. It took me like
I'm
7
a- I'm a-
times.
Be
I'm a horrible
honest.
test
Let's just
taker.
be
I'm a
honest.
horrible test taker.
Just like her, like she got her she had to take extra hours because she didn't pass it the first 3 times.
Yeah.
But yet look what she got out here and she actually got what she wanted to do.
Well, she got with another motherfucker who couldn't learn
Exactly.
traditionally. I'm not a traditional learner.
It's like it just
So I
goes
can't
with-
teach traditionally because I can't learn traditionally.
when you go to real estate class, you're just learning to buy, sell. So is every other fucking real estate agent out here.
Also, they're like, your fiduciary responsibilities, your contract, don't practice law. This is real estate math. Motherfucker, if you never do any real estate, you're never going to practice any of that shit anyway. So it doesn't even matter. If you are a non-productive, non-producing real estate agent right now and you're watching this podcast, it's because you're not structured enough and you're just doing what you were taught. When's the last time you did motherfucking the Pelagotherium theory? I don't even know how to say the shit.
I don't even
I never
know.
am using a manual map like, what are the coordinates? Okay, 126 degrees. I never do that. I type that shit into the fucking GPS. That's the global positioning system I use. We are all really stupid. We're just using the shit that some really smart motherfuckers put together.
Exactly.
And we figured out how to use that shit that
Make
way.
it better for ourselves.
Like Emily just did that TikTok. She's like, shit that I can't live without. This shit that somebody else invented and this other shit that somebody else invented that I know how to use. And those weren't even traditional learners. They're like, this is a problem. I got to change the shit. That's why I say rebellion is actually success to the standard degree. My youngest kids, whenever they do shit against what I taught them and then they look at me like, I'm going to do that shit anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's daddy's side, right? Because to a certain extent, that's what you have to do to make change in the world. Okay, so the realtor that's sitting here watching this right now, and they're like, fuck, man, like I am all that shit and I suck. You don't suck. You were just taught shitty and you're going to get better. So that's the good thing. What would you say to that realtor that's like, they did their first, 2-3 deals, but they're stuck in the mud. They're like, I got to do some shit. I like this loaded agent shit. What would you say to them as far as decision? Because it's hard to make a decision. What would you say to them? They're thinking, I'm thinking about joining the loaded agent. I'm thinking about getting this additional information that goes against every principle that I was taught.
Probably like I'm not even licensed and I can't remember how many deals where we have, and pretty sure if I was licensed I would have already like 4 or 5 of those deals just under myself.
Seriously.
Because I go door knock. I go just like the Westbury house. That house is completely abandoned. No one's there. She sees a lockbox. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna go talk to the neighbor real quick.
Exactly.
I go talk to the neighbor. Me and neighbor are just buddies at that point, doing her bathroom renovation. Give me the number to that person. We're going to contract with them in 2 weeks.
So
And I just FaceTime Joe the other day. Was like, look at this house. He's like, why do you keep giving me these houses, bro?
and so here's the thing, like basically, what we do as loaded agents is not only do we put money in our own pockets and feed ourselves and prove our family wrong. 'Cause I love proving people wrong, whether it's my mom, my brother, my cousin, my uncle, my aunt. I don't give a shit. I told you I could do it. Now watch me do it. It feels great to be able to call Focus Films and call JR and call our people and give jobs out because now we do so much business. Joey, need another roof. Damn, I love you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yo, Louise, I need you to come over and take care of this HVAC on the way, right? You know, like, yo, I need you to come over here, take care of this electrical. Okay, boom. Because now we get to feed way beyond just ourselves. Like, we are so fucking awesome. Like,
Yeah.
like people like, this guy's fucking cocky. I'm like, I'm good.
No, that's the thing.
like,
That was the one thing I was like truly blessed with when I was doing the contracting. That the connections I built to the family, like because I could just immediately contact any one of those guys
bro, I
you just
call
listed.
all your people and they
Exactly.
take care of me like I'm you.
Exactly.
That's how I know you established. And one of the first things I ever said to you, I said, Jared, when we take care of these people, we just got to make sure that we do everything that you've done to establish the relationships that you, because in real estate, the real world is real, and relationship is also one of those
Yeah.
words, right? And so if you shouldn't do real estate if you don't want to talk to people, if you don't want to network, if you don't want to establish relationships, if you don't care. Look, we want to make great money. There's
Exactly.
nothing wrong with that,
Great relationship.
and have great relationships. Okay, so look, where can everybody find you guys? What's your socials? What's your handles? Because I know you. Look, he's like, tell them, Emmalee.
I don't take care of none of that stuff.
Instagram Webster's Real Estate, Facebook Webster's Real Estate.
I'm glad you guys did that. Thank God.
Our website is coming soon, right?
But I still want to know it. They want to know.
Yeah.
webstersrealestate.net. And yeah, I have a link tree that's on my Instagram too,
We're gonna put
with
that.
all of our things.
So we're gonna put that all in the
We're
description.
gonna put our QR code in there.
Oh, we're gonna put the QR code on there.
Yeah,
We'll put that on the
Thanks
screen
you,
too?
Joe. Shout out to
Shout out to Focus Pictures.
Yep.
They got the QR codes. I don't have the QR code. I don't know why I don't have all the same stuff that everybody else has, Joseph. But thank you. I appreciate you guys so much for being the first. First of all, you guys are the youngest, most loadedest agents there are, but you guys are actually my first guests on the Loaded Conversation. So I appreciate you guys so much for your time. Again, guys, make sure that you find us on Facebook at the Loaded Community. Free trainings, free live Q&As. We're giving you tangible information that you guys can put into place. We're giving away 100 free leads bi-weekly all 2023. If you don't know how to actually service those leads, reach out to Webster Realty & Co. I'm sure they won't have a problem doing a joint venture contract with you guys or splitting the deal 50-50 because they actually know what to do. These guys, it's so funny, by the way, a lot of the times when you guys know what to do and then call me anyway, like, okay, I just wanted to make sure that was the right thing to do. But that's what support's all
business
about.
partners. We got to.
That's what support is legitimately all about. Fuck, like, hey, Jared, can you do this? Can you do that? I called you on three-way the other day in Kroger, out of nowhere, like, yo, I'm about to patch you through to Leslie right now. You're like, hey, Leslie,
Hey,
it's Jared.
Leslie, how you doing? Fucking Carlos.
But I genuinely appreciate you guys. I don't do any selling on the podcast at all whatsoever. My goal actually for now and all of 2023 is just to give as much as I possibly can. Just give. If you guys are blessed with the information that we give you and you're actually able to turn it in to income or actually able to help a family that might have been in a distressed situation, then that's my actual payment. Not all payments are monetary. So again, I'm Carlos Puckrin. Thank you, Jerry and Emmalee Webster, the youngest loaded agents. Hopefully you guys might find an 18, 19, 20-year-old loaded. Oh, it's in my son.
Antoine. Yeah, I was about to say Antoine.
Peace.